Welcome to a Drop of Om podcast. You are a drop of Om, swimming in a sea of Om. Om is the vibrational essence of the universe that unifies and connects all of us. Everything changes when you realize your vibrational reality is your responsibility and you get to tend to it with or without help. I am Damla. I am an inner child energetic wound healer, crystal healing teacher, intuitive astrologer, medium, and a soul healing writer. This podcast is your one-stop shop for all things self-healing and being and becoming a healer and light worker. Tending to your vibrational reality makes you a healer. You shine and turn your light on when you take your healing seriously. Your light is much needed in the world. Once you light up, you become a healer for all others just by being. You become Om or love, surrounded by Om or love. Let's shine together. Let's embody the love that we are together. I invite you to sit back, relax, and listen to this podcast not just with your ears, but with your whole body, energy field, and with the ears of your soul. Take the vibrational healing magic of this love broadcast into your body and being. I love you, I love you, I love you. If you are new to this podcast, please take a moment to subscribe so that you can be aware of new episodes. I also invite you to visit adropofom.com, adropofom.com, where I share a lot of free resources for self-healing and being and becoming a healer and light worker. I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello everyone, welcome to Tea with Damla. And today we're going to dive into a very, very interesting topic. But let me show you my tea first. Here it is. I'm going to link it down below. Today's tea is the burdock root tea by Buddha Teas. And this particular one, I love for the fall. It's very grounding, very soothing and calming, because it's a root tea. The particular thing about this tea is it smells horrible, but it tastes amazing. So definitely give it a try if you haven't already, especially for the fall months. It's really, really wonderfully calming tea. All right, let's take a sip. So today I'm going to take you on a journey. We're going to have a few stops, and I promise you I have a point. But as always, with these things, you're gonna get to experience the jungle. That's my mind. So I'll take you on a few different tangents and then we'll bring it all together. And today is very much like I said, a mythical journey. I'm going to share with you a dream of mine and we'll interpret it together because it is my dream, but I do believe it applies to all of us. Because it has many mythical elements, and also because the thing that I'm going to talk about is universal. It's about emotions. It's about the layers of emotions. It's about what it means to name a certain emotion, a certain part of your psyche, and how that can enhance and really deepen your healing. So again, bear with me. There's a lot that I want to share with you. But first, let's start with how this dream even came about. And this is happening in April of this year. So it's been a moment. But I have my journal. I actually write down all my dreams and I put like stars and asterisks around the special, very informative dreams, and this was one of them. And I've been meaning to record this for a while now. So here it goes. So before I had this dream in April, I actually had this big aha moment, this realization. So as a person who identifies with ADHD and multiple energetic wounds and ancestral trauma, I often find myself, and as a person who wants to create beautiful things in the world and create a beautiful life for me and my family, an emotion or a state of being that I often experience is overwhelm, which I'm sure if you exist in a human body, you can relate to it, especially during these times that we live in. So, in this particular moment, I was actually in a deep state of meditation, and I was actually going into my overwhelm, finding it in my body. And I saw very and felt very clearly that underneath my overwhelm was this huge amount of shame. And then I sat with that. And as I looked deeper into the shame, I was actually taken to a childhood moment. And I realized that a huge amount of that shame wasn't even mine. It wasn't even mine. It was about sensing into the shame and wounding of my parents and my ancestors and taking some of that as my own. That was a huge realization for me because I, for a long time, thought my overwhelm was just this constant thing in my life. Like I couldn't resolve it. I couldn't, like, I didn't necessarily try to get rid of it, but I was trying to find out, like, why is it so strong? But when I saw what's underneath it, it was a moment of release for me. I was able to release a huge amount of the strength of that emotion, of that overwhelm. It was almost like my inner world, my body, my psyche, they opened the doors to me seeing it this way so that I could release, seeing the layers of my emotion and feelings so that I could realize like a huge portion of it wasn't even my own. A couple days later, I went to sleep and I get these guidance dreams. I call them guidance dreams. And in my dream, I am living in an attic. Of course, the attic is the mind, is the head, but we're going to dive into all of that. In my dream, I'm living in the attic and my cat is chasing this snake. There's this huge black snake, and I'm like, I am in real life like deadly afraid of snakes. And and of course, this being the snake year, the year of shedding, the year of transformation, and snake has many meanings, but like physically, I'm really afraid of them. And then this huge big snake sort of curls around, and I'm there, I'm like frozen in the attic, and I'm looking at it. And I'm looking at it, and then I start to see these smaller black snakes all around, and I'm just like, oh my God, like I don't know what to do, but I stay there, I look at it and I look at it. Suddenly, the snake transforms into a crocodile. And I don't know how, but I'm even more afraid of the crocodile than I'm afraid of the snake. I'm like, oh my God, like there's a freaking crocodile in my attic. So I'm looking at the crocodile and I'm looking at the crocodile. Meanwhile, there are all these small snakes all around me. But I stay there. I stay there. I keep looking at it. The crocodile then transforms into the head stays the same as a crocodile and it transforms into a like an older woman. And it starts to walk towards me, this crocodile woman. And then she suddenly has hands. She puts her hands on my shoulders And she says, "Don't worry, I'm leaving now." Like she's all of a sudden like almost it's almost like she loving thing that she says to me. She says, "Don't worry, I'm leaving now." And then she looks at the snakes. There's like these millions and millions of small snakes in between us, in between our feet. And that she says they're mine, and she takes them with her. Okay. Um, so I woke up, I immediately wrote this dream down because I knew it was important. And then it started to hit me in waves. As this thing, these kinds of dreams do. I'm like, okay, now let's feel into it. Of course, the very first thing I recognized is the crocodile head and the human body. Even though this was a female presence, or it felt like a female presence, I know of an Egyptian god called Sobek. Sobek is depicted either as a crocodile or he has a crocodile head and a human male body. And in my travel to Egypt in 2022, I had actually traveled to the temple of Komombo. And it's a super interesting temple. It has two entrances. It's like this apart, how should I put it? Like an attached home unit for two gods, if you will. So the south side of the temple is dedicated to Sobek, which is the crocodile-headed god. And then the north is dedicated to Horus. Horus is the hawk headed, or the hawk god, and Horus is the symbol of sun, the sun rising. It's actually the early rays of the sun. It's the rising of hope. It's light, and you could see clearly like the temple has two entrances, like the two sides has two different like tables for offerings. And what the Egyptians did was it was a very clear symbolism of the light, Horus, and the dark, symbolizing all their fears, all their like lower vibrational emotions, like guilt, shame, all of it symbolized in Sobek. And in this temple, actually on the Sobek side, they have deep well, a deep well of darkness, if you will, where they used to keep one actual crocodile as a pet. And next to the temple is actually a crocodile museum where they display just a few of the 300 plus crocodile mummies that they found in that site. Okay, so here's what Egyptians do. And a lot of these symbology based traditions do. Egyptians basically took the thing that they feared the most, like their darkest side, if you will, and they found a physical symbol of it, the crocodile, and they turned it into an object that they could observe and be with. So they were not just honoring the light, the Horus, the sun, the beauty of the light and the good things, but they were also honoring alongside it all of their fears. They were keeping one crocodile as a pet, which is a little creepy, but anyways, if when that one died, they would get another, and they would treat it as this like really honored creature. They would feed it, they would talk to it, all of those. So what my dream was suggesting was this similar type of symbology. Again, the ethic, I found myself in the ethic, and the ethic is your head, your mind, okay? And in the attic, I'm first seeing the snake. The snake is another symbol for DNA, for your ancestral roots, for any wounding that's beyond this life that's stored in your quantum DNA. And in the attic, I come face to face with my fear, with the snake, which then turns into the crocodile, which is, I feel my psyche's, my inner realm's way of showing me as I was looking at my overwhelm, all the fear and anxiety, I was actually meant to discover what's underneath it. So beyond the snake, what was underneath it for me was the crocodile. And I kept standing in the same spot in the dream. I kept observing. I kept staying in my body, even though it was extremely scary, even though it was extremely hard. I kept standing and staying, being grounded in my body. And finally, in the dream, the crocodile, the snake that turned into crocodile, that turned into the crocodile woman, which to me, the woman's side, it symbolizes ancestral wounds, again, my particular kind of trauma that has its roots in the maternal side. So that crocodile woman said to me, "Don't worry, I'm leaving now." And then she said, "I'm taking all of these snakes with me," meaning all of the parts of that emotion that didn't even belong to me, that had deeper roots than me. Okay. So let me now take a breath and pause and tell you what we're going to do next. We're going to talk next about what all of this means for you. And it's really, really important. And it's really, really something you need to pay attention to, because this has the power to change how you live your life, and it has the power to change how to deepen your healing further and further. Okay, so you can think of this as a, yes, it's, the initiating point was my realization, and then my guidance stream, and then like I'm, explaining to you all the symbology of my dream. But this part that we're going to dive into next is all about you, and all about you understanding how this can apply to you. Let's talk about naming. So, in mythology, in fairy tales, naming is you say someone's name and then you have power over them. That's the story we're told. I want to redefine that for you. Naming is another way, actually, a symbolic way of saying getting to know something or some part of you. Okay? So knowing of the name means you know more about this being or this part of the myth or this part of your psyche or this part of yourself. So in that sense, in a dream mythology or even an actual mythology and story sense, naming means getting to know someone through being with them. Okay, so it's not even about words. So a name, if you think about it, is a sound, is a vibration of that represents a being. But you can also get to know them by standing, like I did in my dream, or I did in my meditation before the dream, by standing with them, by standing in your body and getting to feel that vibrational part of you. So I'm going to say that again. Naming is about getting to know the vibrational essence of a part of you, and you can do that by being there with that person. Think of all the loved ones in your life. Think of your pets. Think of your I don't know, your parents, your child, your partner, you do know them deeply because you've spent all this time not just talking, not just saying their name or hearing your name said, because you vibrationally, without the need for words, know each other. And for this knowing of each other, for me, to really understand another being's vibration, what it takes is for me to really be familiar with my own vibration, to sit in my vibration, in the vibration of my whole body. And then to say, let me now pay attention to this particular part that's holding this emotion, and let me sit with that part. But there needs to be a particular way of sitting with that part. It can't just be, oh, I'm sitting here, and nothing is happening, and nothing is happening. That's not how it works. It works only and when you can only get to know someone or some part of you when you sit there in your own and in their vibration with a loving and allowing gaze. With a loving and allowing gaze. So you allow someone's existence, like your cat is just lounging there by you, and you sit there and you let them lounge and you feel their presence while you feel your own presence. And there needs to be an allowing for your own presence so that you can allow their presence. And the same goes for feeling into different elements inside of you. Okay. So, what does this do then? What does this allowing gaze do? Let's just imagine we're talking again about something outside of you. But again, as I said, this applies to everything that's in you. When you allow something or someone's existence just by looking at it with love, allowing and loving gaze, not trying to change them, judge them, fix them, assume things about them, or think that certain things about them. You're just allowing, like softening your gaze, softening your nervous system, softening the inner workings of your mushy brain, your mushy heart, and you're allowing. What happens is this combination of allowing the intention, allowing presence, the intention of allowing presence, which equals loving presence, plus a regulated nervous system, means that this part of you, let's say you're looking at this like freaking out, overwhelmed part of you, can begin to relax a little bit with you. Okay. So, this part of you, this ancestral wound, this ancestral anxiety, or whatever anxiety you gathered up in this life, you're like sitting with it, sitting with it. But again, with the allowing presence plus the regulated nervous system, it can begin to calm down and not take up as much space. It can begin to understand that it doesn't need to take over everything. Because previously, this little part of you that is hurt and wounded had to shout so loud as to shut you up, put you in a functional freeze or non functional freeze or fight or flight or whatever, or fawn. And it felt like it needed to take over everything to be able to be heard. What happens when you're allowing and present and getting regulated and regulated is you become the Komombo temple. You can allow the good stuff And then you can allow the hard stuff to coexist together. So your attic, your mind, as well as your body, doesn't get overwhelmed with the parts that are angry with you because you haven't spent time with them. Okay? So, what we're wanting is we're wanting to make the light parts of you sacred, yes. We're also wanting to make all the other parts of you sacred as well. And what makes them sacred is your loving and allowing gaze and presence and regulation. Allowing gaze, presence, regulation, love equals deep transformation. This kind of allowance means the light and the dark, just like the Komombo temple with the Sobek and Horus, everything can coexist together. And it's a lot like in my dream, sitting in all you need to do, honestly, is just sitting in the same room with the intention to know this part of you, with the intention to ask questions like, okay, this is what I'm feeling, but what's one level underneath that? Can I just sit deeper? You don't go deeper. Like, we're not doing psychic surgery. You're doing sitting deeper into your own essence so that this part of you, this attic, can open up and show you, okay, you're experiencing the snake, you're experiencing the fear, the anxiety, the overwhelm, but what's underneath is it is the crocodile. There are things that, and the crocodile dives deep and deeper into the waters. So there's the symbology of deeper emotions, hidden emotions. So, and you deepen that presence through time, through intentionality, and through just loving, allowing presence. Okay? So, as you choose to really know something, really know what your emotions are here to tell you, really know where they live in you, really know, apart from your whole vibrationality, that particular part of your body's vibrationality, you really want to know them. That's again the naming, the knowing. As you choose to really know something, they no longer have a need to impulsively pull you into their darkness. They, meaning your DNA, your ancestral wounding, your wounding from this life, your hidden parts, they no longer need to create these horrible scenarios for you physically. And because you've ignored them, like they get the impulse to show you that there's so much more underneath. There's so many more layers underneath what seems to be anxiety. There's just so much more there. And they impulsively, like they maybe at first had this little nudge, but over time, as you don't take the time, you don't stay present, you don't have the intention of allowing gaze, and they're like, okay, we're just gonna pull you into the darkness down, into the deep dark well of the crocodile. Okay, when again, as you choose to really know a part of you, this part no longer has a need to impulsively pull you into their darkness. Darkness is not necessarily bad. Darkness is just a different layer of your existence. Again, the Horus, the light, the Sobek, the fears, the dark, whatever, together make you up. When you're willing to go into that spiraling well, with an open mind and heart, with love, not to get lost in the dark, but to open your presence to them. Open your gift of knowingness to this part. That changes everything. That's healing. That's wholeness. That's unifying. That's you reclaiming your energy, because your energy is no longer spent in shoving things down or spent in trying to fight this impulsive pull of darkness. Instead, you invite yourself into these realms, like Inanna, which is another myth I have talked about in the past. You choose. You choose, or life chooses for you. That's the way healing works, okay? A healing crisis is usually life chooses to pull you into the dark parts because you haven't really either learned ever or chosen to go there willingly and by yourself. And how do we go there? Every single freaking day, you sit, you allow with a loving gaze. In my case, I bring in my crystals. I go into my membership recordings. I go into crystal healing recordings. I sometimes go into EFT tappings so that I can feel safe as I go there. And then the other way to go there, if the waves of in the well are too deep and too scary, if you don't even understand when I say like what's underneath what's underneath this emotion, let's look at the layers, and then what's underneath that emotion, and then what's underneath that emotion. If that language is like completely foreign to you, or you're someone as I am who's done this by themselves many many times, and now you come to a point where, wait a minute, like I can get help with this. I can choose to have a compassionate space holder for me who will take me down this well. Okay. So, what that means is every single day, meditation, crystal healing, contemplation, whatever it is, you choose to get to know all parts of your vibrational realm. How do you know if this is working? Look at your dreams. Your dreams will tell you. if, if you're, if you're someone who has done a lot of sitting, a lot of presence, your dreams will have a different kind of quality. And then if you live in that overwhelming anxiety and fear and blah, blah, your dreams will have a different level of quality. Okay? So your dreams are the language of your inner children, of your psyche, of your body, of your being. The other way you will know is your body will physically tell you aches, pains, issues, muscle aches, and this and that and the other. Okay, so that's how you know. Very, very easy. The other way you'll know is finding yourself getting triggered and triggered and triggered and triggered by the similar things again and again. Those are the times to really feel into what's happening, what part is speaking loudly here, like what inner child is hiding behind this drama. So those are your clues. And the way you know that your innards, inner parts know that you're present for them. If you've been doing this like I am for years and years and years of presence, allowing loving presence, and crystals do help greatly with this. If you do this for, for a while, it doesn't even need to be years, but just a couple weeks, just do 1 week, and then maybe another, like daily, your dreams will change. Your dreams will become more hospitable, more habitable, more filled with um, soul music, more leading you to deeper and deeper in healing. And then, of course, you do need to have a certain amount of familiarity with the language of the dreams and to understand, okay, like this was a processing dream. I was just processing things, and then when a dream like, the Sobek comes up in your in your dream. And again, that's a personal symbol for me because I love Egypt. I love Egypt's symbology. But maybe it comes, not maybe, it will come up in your personal, unique way, that kind of symbology. But you will know when something has shifted in you, when your body and being feels heard, understood, loved, and just like more juicy, more, I don't know, more at ease. So no part is just like screaming out loud. There's more harmony between the parts. Like you can have your Sobek and Horus temple together. And then, of course, there will be times when Horus is a little louder and then Sobek is a little louder. It's not meant to be like the static thing, but it's finding the harmony of being with the music that you are. Okay, let me have a sip of my tea. Your um, sacred assignment, if you choose to accept it, is to take all that I've given you here, okay, and then see what stays with you, and then start to pay attention to what's coming in loudly as an emotion, okay, every single day. And these days, by the way, I need to pay attention because I I have been tending to the bigger waves. They actually come in like smaller waves, so I need to pay attention to the subtler music in me. So that happens. But just pay attention to the bigger waves of emotion. Ask what's underneath. If you don't know how to do that, come to me, find me at dropofom.com, adropofom.com. I've been doing this for a long time now, so I can help you with going into the inner realms. Okay, you can do a healing, inner child healing session with me. And you can also go look at my membership, Chakra Bliss Vault membership, which has over 200 deep inner child crystal healing meditations, guided meditations, EFT tappings, and wisdom teachings, and more. And then you start to pay attention to your dreams. You start to pay attention to your physicality, your physical symptoms. You start to pay attention to your emotions. And the two will go hand in hand. The more you allow loving, allowing presence plus the regulated nervous system equals deep, 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 deep healing. And knowing when to dive deeper into the waves is important. You don't dive into them when you're like really in the overwhelm and like, and your nervous system is like shut up, like a shocked electrical open wire. That's not when you go in and like, what's underneath this emotion? That's not how that works. You need to be regulated. And if you don't know how to regulate yourself, my Chakra Bliss Vault membership has EFT tappings, emotional freedom technique tappings to show you how to do that. I have a free one here that you can check out as well. It's called Allowing. Again, this allowing thing, allowing life to flow. EFT tapping is free and will always be free for you. That'll give you a taste. So once you regulate, then you can go in and ask those questions. What's underneath this? Where is this coming from? Is this even mine? Whose is this? What's happening here? What's happening here, people? All right. So again, I hope this made some sense to you, these are the kinds of things that I am like, this is my day. This is my, like, I've been thinking and being with this for months now. And it's continuing to evolve in me. A dream is such a beautiful gift. I mean, it's such a gift because every single time I look at the dream, it's like a fairy tale story, it's like a myth. I see and gather different things. And I encourage you to re listen to this episode too, because, or this class, or this tea time, or I don't know, whatever the heck to call this, but just listen to this again and pay attention to what you're paying attention to. Pay attention to what's staying with you each time, where this is taking you, and you may find that it's different each time. So, yeah, I'm going to leave you with this. And yeah, just trust and know that if you've been listening this far, there is a reason you're here. There's something in here that you needed to hear. And I know that you heard it. And then the next step is your loving and allowing presence every single freaking day. And if you don't know how to do that, by first regulating your nervous system, go to my membership, Chakra Bliss Vault. You can find all about it at adropofom.com. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I love you. There is a wonderful thing I would like to share with you. I created a beautiful container to help you heal your energetic wounds and activate the infinite light and potentials of your inner children. It is an inner child crystal healing membership called Chakra Bliss Vault. The vault has powerful inner child crystal healings, guided and EFT tapping meditations, wisdom teachings, crystalline movement practices, and a lot more that you get to access anytime and anywhere. This is a membership for self-healers as well as healers and light workers who want to exponentially deepen their energetic wound healing and shine brighter than they ever thought possible. You can find out more about it at adropofom.com, adropofom.com. I invite you to make healing your energetic wounds and connecting with your inner children a priority and invest in your well-being by becoming a Chakra Bliss Vault member. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to A Drop of Om podcast. If this episode spoke to you in any way, please leave a review or comment, like or love it, and share it with others in your life. This is a true soul love project from my heart to yours. I really appreciate your help in spreading the word. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and check out other episodes. Have a beautiful and wonderful day.